Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports.
This is Helen here from Popternative, and I'm speaking with Justin Zuckerman and Ryan Brown about their film Yelling Fire in an Empty Theater, which is going to be screening at this year's Slamdance Festival 2022. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you feeling about your movie being screened at this virtual festival this year?
I think we're beyond thrilled to have it screened at Slamdance. I mean, it's honestly but more than what we could have expected for it, and we've just been elated kind of since we got word that we got in.
Yeah, when was that? When did you hear that it was going to be screening?
It was a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah,
or
no, it was a little
November.
Yeah, it was like November.
Was it late November, maybe?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's January now. So, yeah. More than a few weeks ago.
Okay, so quite recent. And it did debut elsewhere, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it played at this one festival in Philadelphia. That was also virtual, so we didn't really get to. I haven't been part of my film's many festivals, so that one also.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's your debut, so it's your debut film, right, Justin?
Yeah,
how long was this film in the making for you? Like, how long was this idea crafting in your head before?
We're just talking about it. It was. I kind of got the idea. I moved to New York in January of 2019, and then by February I was working on it. And then we filmed it in November of that year.
Of 2019. Okay.
Yeah, it was all in 1 year. Kind of everything happened.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I guess this was all pre-pandemic. I was watching it, and I was like, oh, they're so close to each other. But I have to remember this is pre-pandemic days, right?
I watch it. I watch some scenes, and I'm like, I forget that. I'm like, where are the masks? But,
social distancing, crammed parties.
We were editing it during the pandemic, and it was at a point where I was like watching the party scene from the movie and being like, it was making me emotional. I was like, I don't know if this is
it's been a long time.
Yeah. But a pandemic is it's an ideal environment for editing.
Yeah.
For sure. There's nothing else to do with your life.
It's kind of like a little memory of what life was like before.
Oh yeah. It was tough. It was really, the film was basically because you finished a little bit of the film that you shot in Florida, that was around Christmas 2019.
That was,
right?
Right at the end of.
So, it was like 2 months before the pandemic. So for a lot of us, it was pretty much the last kind of major memory we had before having more new experiences. So it is kind of like represent a funny moment in time for all of us, I think.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that we had the gumption to go ahead and shoot it so quickly and not wait.
Yeah, because otherwise it would not have happened.
Yeah. And I also noticed that it was filmed with a mini camera, right? Not a traditional one. What made you decide that? And for both of you, how was it filming that way?
I think there were a few factors that led to us deciding that. When I was writing the movie, I was watching a lot of these kind of indie, low-budget mumblecore films. And they're not necessarily shot on that kind of camera, but it has a similar aesthetic. And I think that mini DV in itself has a style that is very unique and kind of home movie-ish and intimate that really presents something that you don't see very often and already evokes certain feelings that I really like. And it's also very budget friendly too. So that was.
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah, I was going to say it did feel very intimate, especially with the main character. It almost felt like it was basically a chronicle of her own experiences, essentially. Yeah.
And it was, with Mini DB, we really were able to get into a lot of places that maybe we couldn't have been, like shooting at JFK, for example.
Oh,
Grocery stores and things like that. And you don't need or at least we didn't use lights, or there's no lens changes or anything. So you can spend a lot more time with just the actors and move around with the camera a lot, which if you set up lights and things normally, there's a whole lot of time spent just resetting stuff that we didn't have to worry about.
Yeah, it was a very, pure experience, because on most films, I would say for most of a shooting day, it's like it's 60% setup, and you kind of, it's, all this work just to get to the moment where you're actually kind of like working on the scene. And so to shoot, the way that Justin was shooting was amazing, because the whole day was basically just actually doing, the part of the process that most people, enjoy. And it was really great. And I think the movie's a testament too to the fact that, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're definitely in an era where even super low budget projects are expected to have very high, production quality, look like real movies and so forth. But, I think the movie kind of shows that, like, if a moment is working and it's honest and it's coming from an honest place, like, it doesn't really matter how it's coming to you, it will still kind of come through. And, it was really powerful for me after that to kind of take that, out of the experience, and remember that it doesn't have to, every time you want to be able to kind of do something creative with people, you don't necessarily have to get this entire, machine together.
Yeah. And Ryan, you had a part in it, but you were also producer. So how was that, wearing those hats as well for you?
It wasn't too stressful, because as producer, there was, less things to worry about than normal, given, exactly what we just talked about. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, my production duties really mostly ended on just making sure everybody knew where to show up, and that we had food and so forth. So it wasn't too hard to wear both hats.
Yeah, a lot of what he had to do was before production. So during production, when he was acting, I don't think he had to be thinking about too much.
Yeah, and we had some great help. Mackenzie and Pete on the crew were able to kind of step in if I needed to step out. So that kind of support was definitely crucial.
Awesome. I know we talked a little bit before about how it's a very intimate movie by the way it's filmed, but what do you hope people get when they watch it? Both of you maybe have different ideas.
I think, first off, not necessarily about, I guess, the actual content of it, but just the fact that if you want to make a movie, and if you have a story that you want to tell, and you have just any kind of camera, and you're surrounded by people who also just have an itch to create something, that it's possible to do it, even if you don't have a ton of equipment and resources and stuff. And I think that's, when we were setting out to make the movie, it was an experiment to see how possible that was, and how worthwhile an outing like that might be. And I think that it proved that it was worth doing it. And I think, anyone else who wants to do something like that certainly should feel emboldened to try it as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I mean, I obviously think from the movie itself, people will take, whatever it is that they do take from it. But as far as the experience went, it definitely was a lesson in, I mean, kind of going into it, the whole idea was, I mean, we didn't think anybody would ever see it, maybe.
The fact that it's here.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it was very, for Justin, it was very pure, intentioned, and I think that was the biggest takeaway for me. And if anybody takes anything away from the movie, I think, to do things for the right reason, and if the right reason is to, have the kind of experience of making something with other people, and hopefully making something that feels, honest to your own life and experience, that can be a goal in and of itself, and it doesn't always have to be about, like, but how do we make other people want to watch it and buy it?
Right.
And all things.
Right. Yeah. And are you two planning to work together on other projects? Maybe you are now, in the future.
Never. No, yeah, we
did already, I guess. Yeah.
Ryan just directed a movie that I produced.
Yes, we swapped.
So swapped.
Yeah, so his debut feature. And if I make another feature, I will certainly be recruiting.
Yeah, and I'll consider it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you maybe want to tell people when Yelling Fire and Empty Theater is going to be screened at Slamdance, and where people can get maybe information about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's available starting the 27th on the Slamdance Film Festival, the Slamdance channel. Our quote unquote premiere will be happening on the 31st of January. followed by a Q&A with me and two of the actors. And you can go online and look at Slamdance's website. They've got access to how to sign up for the festival, and it only costs $10.
And that's for, you get access to the whole festival.
The whole thing.
You can watch every film at the festival from the 27th to the 6th of February for just $10. So, I mean, it's just a steal.
And it's all virtual. Nobody has to leave their house.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And I hope a lot more people watch this during the festival. And I'm happy to see what's coming next from you two. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And
thank you,
yeah,
Helen.
we really appreciate you seeing the film.
Yeah, of course. For more content like this, you can go to popternative.com. We're also going to have all the information about this film and Slamdance in the section below. This is Helen signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.